have mercy, look at how the time goes.
Good afternoon, people. Good morning, good evening, whatever time it is where you find yourself now. And welcome to this episode of the Coming Home podcast with John Allen. And I am your host, John Allen. Now, today I'm doing a solo thing, a monologue, if you will. Partly scripted, partly flying by the seat of my pants here. I thought I'd come to you today and give you some motivation. You know, here's a little bit of motivation for you because you need it. I know I do, and not just because of these troubled times that we're going through. I need motivation constantly. I thrive on motivation. It's what motivates me. You know, I have a question for you. What are you doing with the situation in which you find yourself? Are you taking control, or are you letting the situation control you? I know times are hard. I know that. I get that. At the very least, you could say these times are strangely different. At the very least, you could say that. And with these strangely different times comes a certain set of new challenges. So, you know, what kind of challenges are you being faced with? I think for each person walking this earth, there's a separate set of unique challenges. But I think what we all have in common is this. We all have the ability to either accept or deny the challenge that is upon us. The issues, the confrontations, the worries, and the problems that we're faced with. We have a choice. You can accept those challenges or you can deny them. And that is undeniable. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to look at these strangely different times as an opportunity? I said it, an opportunity. Are you going to do that? Because, you know, this is an opportunity to, you can pick up the reins and ride that horse. You can pick up that challenge and turn it into an opportunity. I truly believe that. Maybe you'll agree with me by the time I'm finished here. Maybe you won't. Now, I know that is easier said than done. I get that. Like I said, I know times are tough. You know, the winds of uncertainty are blowing cold. Sounds like a Led Zeppelin song there. I think they said the winds of Thor are blowing cold, but let's change that. Let's change that. The winds of uncertainty are out there blowing a little bit cold. But I also know that in times of uncertainty or in times of greater than normal challenges, you can handle that. You can tackle that situation a little bit better if you've got a little bit of badassery, as we like to call it, in you. You know, badassery is, you could say, it's a great coat to have to shelter you against those cold winds of uncertainty. What is badassery? What makes you a badass? You know, you become more of a badass or a person who is more fit to take on life's challenges when you do just that. When you face the challenges, when you take them upon yourself. You know, not just face the challenge, but, you know, start to do something active in order to deal with that challenge. There's so many things out there that people are faced with. Maybe you've always been one that kind of shoved your problems into your subconscious, and you didn't do anything to actively deal with that problem. But now, what are you doing? You know, maybe you're laid off. Maybe maybe you lost your job outright, and you're just kind of sitting around. Well, how about facing a few of these things? For example, you know, are you fat and out of shape? You know, if you're home during these days of quarantine and job layoffs, then guess what? You know, now you have an opportunity to turn that challenge of your physical condition into an opportunity. In other words, the opportunity is there for you to now do something with it. You're not working maybe, or maybe you're working less, or maybe you're working from home. So you have a totally different daily schedule that is giving you the time to do something with your physical fitness. It's an opportunity now. The challenge of working less or maybe not being able to work at all has presented itself as an opportunity for you to change your body which will then in turn possibly and hopefully change your mindset, body and mind, body and mind. What's some other things? Have you always wanted to be some sort of artist? Have you always wanted to be a painter or a writer, but you felt that you didn't have the time? Have you always wanted to monetize a hobby, but you haven't because you haven't had the time? So you think we do have the time, but that's a whole nother podcast. That whole thing about managing time. If you're not working at the moment, well, now you have time. Now you have the opportunity to do something about these things. Imagine what you could get done which you could get done if you took the 8 hours that you're normally at work and you use those 8 hours towards writing. For example, you want to be a writer, or you're a good painter. You have some good pieces of artwork that you've maybe started but haven't finished. Or maybe your friends say, "Oh my gosh, you're a good painter. You should do something with it." Well, here's your time. Here's your opportunity. I hear a lot of people, well, not a lot because I don't know that many artists, but I do know of some artists who, in the same breath as they say they would love to be able to display their artwork, in some sort of gallery, or they would love to be able to sell a painting. In the same breath that they say that, they don't do anything to make that happen. So, do they even know if they're good enough? You could be the next Picasso, for all we know. But who's going to know that if you don't put your work out there? Who's going to know that if you don't use the time that you may now have towards developing your art? Do it. Put it out there on display. Okay, you can't get into a gallery. You can't get it into some sort of art exhibit. I understand. Believe me, I understand about how difficult it can be to break into certain artistic environments. For example, getting your artwork into a gallery is very difficult. So think around that issue. How can you get your art out there? Open up a website, start a website, take nice photos. I almost said Polaroids. Good Lord, I'm dating myself. Take a nice photograph of a painting that you've done and put it up on your own website. Of course, that's a whole nother challenge to try and draw attention to your website, but put your art up there and voila, you have your own net-based gallery. And now all of a sudden you're the boss of that gallery. You don't have to impress anybody to get your art into that art gallery. So I'm just using the artwork, painting as an example. But see what you can do to bypass those normal avenues that you thought you would have to take in order to get your work out there on display. Bypass that. Start a website. Okay, you're afraid of starting a website or you don't know how to start a website? Find somebody who has one. Ask them, would you display my art for me? Would you help to push my artistic product out there for me? I'll do it. I'll do it. Are you an artist? Send it to me. You can send me an email at john@johnallenpod.com. That's JOHN, john@johnallenpod.com. Send me an email with a piece of your artwork. Tell me who you are, and I'll be happy to post it for you on my website. There's a little plug for my website at www.johnallenpod.com. Shameless self-promotion. Hey, if I don't do it, who's going to do it? So yeah, you could feature your own artwork online if you wanted to. The point is if it's something that you've always wanted to do, now is opportunity to do it. In this new set of circumstances, in this new set of challenges, there will be opportunities if your eyes are open for it. Believe me on that. But, I get it. You might have been stuck in a rut of, reduced awareness for these opportunities. I get that. Recognizing the fact that you can turn challenges into opportunities demands a new mindset for some of us. And gaining that new mindset does not have to be difficult. It doesn't. It just doesn't have to be difficult. It can be difficult, but it doesn't have to be. Again, what if you use these crazy days to gain a new mindset? You can gain a new body, or at least a new awareness of your body by training. Get out in your garage, do some body weight exercises and whatnot. But this whole thing about a new mindset, that's also a training issue. Train yourself on a new line of thought. It's possible. Look at brain power look at it in the same way as you look at body power, body strength, mind strength. You can train both of them. Absolutely. So what if you started that process by making the conscious decision to remake your mindset? If you made a conscious decision to remake your body, I truly believe that physical fitness and mental or emotional fitness are intertwined. I truly believe that. If you work on one, you can't help but work on the other. You may not be aware that you're working on the other, but what if you were aware that you were working on both body and mind and spirit, if we can throw that in there? Religious or not, atheist or not, everybody has a spirit that can be worked on. I'm not trying to preach. I'm trying to open this up for everybody. So religious or not, the spirit is an issue. I don't know. Whether or not you're an elite level athlete or you're a new beginner, everybody has a certain level of physical conditioning, whether or not you're an astrophysicist or a guy or girl who just has a GED. You have a certain state of mental awareness and capability, and both of those issues can be trained. Use these days to do that. Take advantage of this challenging situation and see the opportunities that are around you. I hope I don't sound preachy. I'm not trying to preach to y'all. I'm just trying to share a little bit of motivation, just a couple of things that I've been thinking about these last few days. I listen to people who motivate me, whether it's my wife. She motivates me. She's real good at cracking the whip. There's a joke in there. She's a white woman and I'm a black man. She's good at cracking the whip. Well, we'll get to that. I'll work on that one, build that up in my routine. But no, I listen to people myself who motivate me. I don't have all the answers, but there's people out there who have more answers than I do, or at least they have certain things that they can say that can guide me, whether they know it or not. There's people out there who guide me by the things that they say and the things that they do, the way they carry themselves, the goals that they have achieved. I see a lesson in that. So I'm just trying to share those thoughts with you all. Maybe you guys see some sort of lesson you can learn here. Not that I'm some kind of guru, but maybe I'll say something that will stimulate a little bit of thought, that will stimulate a little bit of action, which will then lead you to a new result. Yeah. I'm a power lifter. My gym and my powerlifting club here in Norway are both shut down. But I'm here to tell you, I have not wasted a single second bitching about that. Instead, I saw a challenger. Okay, what am I going to do to be able to train? What am I going to do to be able to keep doing my physical therapy for this crazy shoulder injury that I've had? How am I going to fix that? For me, the solution was simple. I'm going to train. Okay, I can't train the way I normally trained. What am I going to do? Well, the solution was simple. I'm going to train different. So now I'm doing things like body weight exercises. I'm using those bands, not bands, but TRX. There's a product out there called TRX. It's like it's these bands. You can hook them up on the wall or on the ceiling, and then you train your body weight. I did 250 reps on body weight squats today. I did that earlier today, maybe 4 or 5 hours ago, and good Lord, I'm feeling it. My point is, things don't have to stop, in your daily routine. There's a lot of people out there that are affected by these days of quarantine. A lot of athletes out there that are affected by this quarantine. I challenge you, to see an opportunity in that challenge. Find a new way to train. Okay, I can't train heavy like I'd like to do. So, okay, I did 250 reps on body weight squats today. My goal is by next week I'll be doing 300. So, and when I do 300, maybe I'll do it on the clock. Maybe it'll take me 15 minutes to do 300 reps. Well, then my goal will be to do 300 reps in 14 minutes, and so on and so on. And just find new goals. Got to keep going. I can't get weak. I'd like to get stronger. I have an elliptical machine in the garage. 20 minutes on that bad boy is a good cardio session. So I'm out there trying to find things to do, trying to find things to keep myself going. I hope you guys are doing the same. Again, I'm not trying to preach to you guys. I'm just trying to send out a little bit of motivation because I think you need it. And there's no arrogance in that statement. I think everybody needs motivation. Maybe I'm reminding you that the time has come to start taking some steps in a new direction, start taking some steps to find the opportunities within these days of new challenges. So, and I need that too. So this little monologue is as much for me as it is for you. So, do something with the situation in which you find yourself. Face the challenge, turn it into an opportunity. Do that. Do it. So those are my thoughts on motivation. Those are my thoughts on these crazy days with new challenges. And I just wanted to share them with you. And I'll sit back and see what happens. Drop me an email at john@johnallenpod.com. That's JOHN, john@johnallenpod.com. Drop me an email there. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what you think of this solo episode of the podcast. To be honest, I've recorded 3 solo episodes, but I've just tossed them in the can. The first solo one that I did, that I never released it. It was where I was doing. It was an information episode where I was just telling a little bit about my background, telling a little bit about what I do and why I'm doing this podcast. But it just sounded stupid. It sounded like I was bragging. I'm not afraid to talk about my capabilities, but that episode of the podcast sounded like bragging. So I tossed it, and what I did is I brought in my good friend Tiffany Troutman. You can hear that interview. She interviewed me. She took charge and she interviewed me, and that was the episode where I got the information out about me. That was in episode 3, so you can go back and listen to that. So anyway, how was that for an opening monologue? First solo episode that you guys are hearing. And it wasn't funny. I am a stand-up comic, but I don't know. I'm not actively trying to inject humor into this podcast. If you're a Norwegian here in Norway and you've heard my stand-up act, you might be saying, you haven't tried to inject any humor in your stand-up routine either. We don't understand the cultural references, and what is this black and white issue of which you speak all the time? No, I don't know. There are some challenges doing stand-up as an American in Norway. There's some serious challenges. And believe me, some of the cultural references that I've put into my stand-up routine, they don't go over very well for a Norwegian audience. And I'm not saying they're stupid. I'm just saying they are... it's a cultural reference. There's things. I've been living here for 18 years now, 18, almost 19 years. And there are cultural references here that get me scratching my head and definitely not laughing if it's supposed to be something funny. It has to do with background. It has to do with culture. But I enjoy that challenge where I find myself, if I'm writing new material, I always have to stop and think, okay, are they going to get it? Is this going to be funny to them? Is this going to be doable here in Norway? So there's a whole other element that is put into my to my writing process when I do my stand-up. Today, by the way, I think I said in a previous episode, I think I said it in the very first episode with Babek Namati. I think I was talking about the 19th of March was my first year anniversary doing stand-up. But that was wrong. Today, the 27th of March, today is my 1-year anniversary. How did I know that? Yeah, that good old memories thing on Facebook where you get your memories from a year ago. Someone had posted a photograph. You guys see this photograph on my website and on my my Facebook account. You see this photograph of a microphone sitting up on a lighted stage. One of my good friends, actually I think it was Tiffany. Tiffany Troutman came to that first show and she took a picture of that microphone on that stage. And so that popped up in my Facebook feed. I'm like, oh, what? Today is my 1-year anniversary. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody who has supported me and given me the great feedback, who's come out to the shows over the last year. Thank you guys so much. A special shout out to Babek Namati and Jon Jarde, two local pillars of the local stand-up comedy scene. I love you guys. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for your guidance, Mr. Jon Jarde. Yeah, may it continue for many more years to come. But, wow, watching social media, I am really enjoying seeing these musicians and artists and not amateur actors, but actors that are lesser known, just killing it on these Facebook videos and these, what do you call it, live streaming and whatnot. There's some people out there that are just killing it. My buddy, Raymond Olsen, that would be Raymond Olsen for you Americans out there. Raymond Olsen here in Norway, he's a Loyal Oak artist. He and a couple other guys started a Facebook group. It's called Digital Scene, or in Norwegian, Digitalsen. And what it is, it's a collective, if you will, or it's a page. It's basically a Facebook page for Norwegian artists. And I've actually seen some other artists outside of Norway, but mostly it's for Norwegian artists to live stream their concerts. I had a concert with Raimund's band and another band called Dance Commander. I was promoting a concert. It was supposed to come in May. That's been canceled now because of all this quarantine stuff. So there's a lot of bands, hundreds, probably thousands of artists in Scandinavia alone who are losing money. This is their life. This is how they make money. And now they're losing it because these shows are being canceled. And rightfully so. I'm all for canceling these shows. But to get around that, these people are now live streaming. In little itty bitty Norway with 5 million people, I believe that digital scene or Digitalsen on Facebook, I believe they have over 100,000 people who are watching. So if you live stream something there, you have potentially an audience of 100,000 plus. And that is amazing. That is just amazing. I'm sure there's other pages like that going on in other, what do you call it, sub-societies, around sub-musical societies around the world. I'm sure that's happening in other places, but this one here in Norway is just absolutely amazing. The talent that is out there on these Norwegian artists, it's an eye-opener for me. So way to go, Raymond Olsen, or Raymond Olsen, as we would call you back home. Good job on that. You and all the other people who have anything to do with that, you guys are doing some great work. Yeah, I love you guys. I got another friend, Trine Sveie, another Norwegian lady who is, she's a fitness instructor, personal trainer. I believe she's done aerobic instructing at some point. And now she's doing yoga. I think it's like 8 o'clock in the morning every day, live streaming yoga. So again, people are really taking care of themselves through this live streaming thing. I don't know how much income these musicians and artists are getting, but they're opening up where you can send, there's different ways of doing it, but where you can actually send them money online or through PayPal or through other solutions that are out there. So you can watch these things and pay as if you were watching a live concert, which you actually are. It's just being live streamed instead of you being there physically. So way to go, people, taking advantage of these possibilities that are there because of technology. Social media is not just foolishness. Here's an example of people using it for something good. Oh, technology. Me and technology do not get along. As you're listening to this, I hope that some of you are actually watching this. I'm going to try to put the video and the sound together somehow and make this episode not just an audio podcast, but also a video podcast. So we'll see how that goes. Me and technology do not get along. I was going crazy the other day trying to build up my website and put in certain little features. And then this thing about, it was an ad for buying an app to put in on my website to do, what do you call that? Search engine optimization. And I'm just, I never even knew such a thing existed. So my point is I don't know. I'm going to think positive. I'm going to say that you will be watching this as well as listening. But if not, it's just a continuation of the norm, which is just audio. So nothing lost. Another shout out, my friend Andrew Morrow. Hello, Lade. He's out there. He's a guy from Ireland, but he is here in Norway now, and he's doing online trading for dads. I saw he was up there with live streaming, offering online training programs and guidance and coaching for people, or specifically for dads who need it. So good for him. Good for all of these people who are taking advantage of these days, to get out there and do something. I'm really impressed. I'm impressed with the musicians and the artists who are doing the live streaming thing and turning it into an income source. I'm very impressed with the people who are offering online training and coaching. This is an opportunity for people. How's this for a positive podcast? Maybe a little preachy. I don't know. But I do practice what I preach. I'm doing okay here. These have been some good days for me, and I'm not trying to downplay anybody's suffering. I know people are out there who are sick, or somebody who's sick. I know people are dying. I know you may know someone who has died or is in danger of dying from this disease that's out there. So I'm not trying to downplay that, but my experience so far has been just fine. I've been inside since the 10th of March. I did a stand-up show in Oslo on the 10th. Well, I don't want to say it was a show. That makes it sound more important. It makes me sound more important than anyway. It was an open mic where I did a few minutes, tried out some new material. That was on the 10th of March, and I have been inside since then. No, you know what? I take that back. I did drive Snoop, my wife, to the store. I sat in the car while she went in and did the shopping. Send that savage little woman out into the chaos, that virus-filled air. I don't know. I think she's too tough to get sick. I don't want to be flippant about it, though. I should stop. I don't want to jinx myself. We're all healthy. Snoop, both of the babies, we're doing well. I hope you guys are doing well. If you're not doing well, I hope you do better. Thank you all so much for listening. I don't have too much more to say. Check me out at my website, www.johnallenpod.com. That's JOHN. You can send me an email at john@johnallenpod.com. JOHN. Okay, everybody. Bye. See ya.
I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Yes, I am. Yes, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Yes, I am, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Lord, I'm coming home.